Hey tribe, you're watching Solo Through Hiker HighViz, one trail, one journey, all in high visibility. Today we're going to go over my cook set, my electronics that I took, my tent, and basically everything else that I haven't covered. We're going to go through that today. Let's get started. We are going to start with electronics. So my electronics, let's talk first about so obviously I took my phone and I'm filming on that. That's an iPhone 12 Pro and that worked fine. I also had the Insta360. My Insta360, I really love this camera. I did not take enough time to use it so I was able to utilize it on trail. I am not I wasn't able to use my phone and also use this and kind of combine. So I think the next time I go, I would love to use an action camera. I don't know if this is the one. I do enjoy it. I saw some other cameras, that I may be able to kind of up my game in terms of what you all are able to see, because it was so much that I wasn't able to show on the videos because I just had my camera. So the Insta360, I ended up sending that home midway for weight purposes, and I realized I wasn't using it a lot. So I'm going to decide next time. I think I would use an action camera, one, because I had a lot of issues, and you all know, with storage and trying to get out videos, and I really want to be able to share, as I continue to hike and do through hikes, I want to be able to share a little bit more in terms of the landscape and things around me. So that's my Insta360. And I started with a tripod. I don't have it with me. So it was a really small tripod. I kind of regret sending that back home because it gave me a little bit more in terms of angles and things that I could actually show you all. I sent it home because I was like, wait. And I think I will, either have an alternative for that or, have some type of tripod. This was a part of my Insta360 package, and it's a tripod, and it holds, a selfie stick, so that you don't this is the invisible one, so you don't actually see it, but it also was a tripod, and I had this with me as well. I came prepared, but I did not have all of the tools that I needed to be able to kind of convey that to you all in terms of learning this particular camera. So that was with me, and I sent that home midway. I also have my Nightcore. You cannot have one of these. I mean, whatever kind of Nightcore, whatever kind of headlamp you need, some type of headlamp. This never died on me. I did not use it a lot. I used it enough to know I need it. But there were times where people always tell me, like in my regular life, I walk around in the dark for whatever reason, and I'm able to navigate. So I would definitely, take this again, and it has the red light as well as the white one. So Nightcore. And then we already talked about my Anchor battery, which I love. I'm going to take this again next time. So Anchor battery. And then I had some things for storage, which, I put the videos on. I need to kind of, maybe I'll ask my son or my daughter. They're all really good at, tech stuff. So I need to kind of figure out, because I had some things that I transferred onto here, but it didn't really help my storage. So that, and then I had some extra cords. I also took my earphones that go with the phone. So they're like the factory earphones that plug in. Those were my extras. And then I had a pair of Beats. Let me show you all the Beats that I carried with me. And I didn't listen to them a lot, but they came in handy sometimes. And so I would bring these again. So that was basically my electronics, and I had some extra cords and things like that let's move on to my cookware. So this is, oh, we're gonna have some fun here, y'all. This is my toast stove pot, and this is a classic. I'd take it again. It worked perfectly, and it's still in great condition. This is the mesh that it came in. I also had the Amicus Soto stove that I wasn't able to take with me on the plane, so I had to ditch it. That's kind of, I'm like, how do we navigate that? I guess send it before you actually get on the plane, send it home to like when it, you know, send it back home so you don't waste and stuff. That kind of bothers me. But anyway, then I got my toast spoon, spork, and this worked perfectly. So this will be coming with me as well. And I have my food bag. And this is Hilltop Packs, custom. Unfortunately, you guys know I went through some things when I got to like New Hampshire and Maine. I was, honestly, I was hanging my bag. It was kind of a lazy hang. So it wasn't high enough, but the little critters got in there. So I don't, you know, I won't be able to take this again. Unfortunately, I need something else. So chime in, let me know what you guys use for food, your food bags and things like that. We already went over, you know, my hanging bag and my string. I talked about that. I just need a better system with that. And so we're gonna go over now. I had the Sawyer squeeze, and I did not have, I just used this and put it on my bottle, and still some more in there. I used this and put it on my bottle. May think about, particularly if I end up doing PCT and some other trails where water is really scarce, bringing the actual the larger bag so that I have a little bit more water. This worked for the AT, and I you know, I would take this, but I also would take one of the bags as well. So we did well with the Sawyer squeeze. We did what we had to do. Now, this is just this is really like bare minimum here because I started with a lot more Band-Aids and bandages and leukotape. Dr. Bronner's is not going to fail you. That works all the time. And then I just have some Band-Aids, some leukotape. The leukotape came in handy for me, and I'll talk about that in a minute and why that came in handy, and some toenail clippers. And I had a pair of scissors, and I had some needle and thread and some floss and thread as well. So that was that. And then we move on to my poop kit, my trowel. You know, this is my second trowel. My first one I lost. I left it. I used it and I left it by accident, and I had to get another one. So they're worthy. Toilet tissue, still got some left, and some hand sanitizer. And this is like my fourth one. I would, you know, we go through those because that's all you're using basically, unless you're at a hospital. So that is that. And then we have my tent stakes. I used the groundhog stakes for the most part, a lot of those. And then I had a couple of these hooks, but most of mine were groundhog, and they did really well. So those will be coming with me again. Next, I have, and I talked about this, but I ended up with another. My first one had a hole in it, Nemo tensor pad, and so here we are. I have a new one, and it's pretty new because I guess it was after Virginia sometime, and so I would take this again. I think, I don't know, you know, things happen. I did patch up the first one that did not work, so we are going to still use the Nemo tensor pad. Besides, I don't want to buy another one. And I started with the electronic, the small, I can't think of the name of it. I'll put it on the screen. But the, to blow this up. And people raved about it. I mean, like, and I thought it was good, but somehow or another mine stopped working. And I just resorted to use what came with the actual pad. It did take me a while, but I was like, I'm not going to buy another pump. So this is what I use, and it does work. Next, I want to talk, you know what? I did not talk, and I'm not sure, my umbrella. And so this So let me tell you, you see I have two. And I told y'all the story about when I got to Atlanta and things did not show up. When I got to my brother's house, I was waiting for a package and I never saw it. So I ended up having to go and repurchase. This was one of the things I repurchased. Well, the package came later on and here was the other umbrella. So I have now two of these umbrellas, which work really well. Yes, I would take one again. I use this more. It's so hard to say. Like, I use this a little bit more than I use my raincoat and, you know, rain pants. But I'll say you're gonna get wet if it's a day where it's just raining and it's windy. You're still gonna get wet. I think I would. Something about this I like is, you know, only thing is I will say is when I got to like New Hampshire, you can't see it really in front of you well. I like to have a clear view of what's going on. And as everyone knows, like New Hampshire, super rocky and super challenging. And so putting up an umbrella on some of those days, no. But down south, yes, I would utilize this. So that's my umbrella. And lastly, let's talk about my tent and ground sheet. And so interesting enough, I haven't taken my tent out. I'm sure it has that wonderful outdoor smell. And so this is the Durston X Mid Pro. I don't have anything bad to say about this tent. It took me 2,200 miles. You all know that one night I was in my tent and it was something in there that I had that was smelly. I don't know what it was. It wasn't food, but the critter went ahead and all this was happening in New Hampshire. I was like, okay. So, you know, it smells horrific. But anyway, I think I can give it a good wash. Spray outside. I would like to take this again. I do have some patches that came with the tent that I probably can repair those holes. I would at least try to get another Thruhike out of this, maybe a smaller one. So Durston X Mid Pro, I think it was worth the money and it held up well. It took me a while, y'all. Y'all know it took me a while to actually figure out how to put this up. So I would try to take this again. We'll see. And then I have my ground sheet that I took. This is 6 Moons Design ground sheet. And, you know, it did exactly what it needs to do. I don't have any major holes. It's dirty, obviously. But I take it again, give it a good wash, take it again. So that, and then lastly, let's talk about I have this one trekking pole. And you want to know why I have this one trekking pole? Okay. I started the trail. Once again, things were supposed to be sent to my brothers. They never arrived. This was a part of what was supposed to be sent. So I went out and purchased another pair. Those are the ones that you see me in trekking with every day. I got to a place where I talked about it. One of them broke. I got to a hostel and the guy fixed my trekking pole for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I believe towards the very end, like I was either headed into Maine or in Maine, one of them broke again. And so I had asked my brother to send me the other one because what happened was he brought these out with him when he came when we were in Pauling, New York. And so, and one of his broke. So I don't know, you know, if the Black Diamonds are like, you know, you get a certain amount of mileage out of them and then they kind of go awry. But this is the one I have left after everything. And then when I got to get on the plane, I had to chuck my trekking pole, you know, my trekking poles, even though one was broke. I did use the Leuco tape for the other one and I just kept it on there and it, you know, it was okay. I got used to, because people were like, you only need one. And I was like, true, but I'm used to two. And so I kind of wanted to rock with the 2 trekking poles. But I have this one. My brother has sent it. It never arrived and they returned it to Cinder. And so I have this one and I'm just looking for one more. You know, maybe I can go to REI and their section where if you remember, you can get a trekking pole. So today was all about just finishing up with all of my gear. If you have any questions, please ask me. We're going to go over food and resupply in my next video. We'll talk about that. Some exciting things coming to the channel. And so I'm excited. I hope you all are excited, but I'm super excited about it. HighViz signing out. Love and hike.